I did not scream. I did not cry. I did not ask questions. I simply locked the bedroom door and called my sister's husband. Because when betrayal walks into your house wearing familiar faces, you do not beg for explanations. You control the ending. And that night, I made sure everyone got exactly what they deserved. But what none of them knew was that I had already been planning for weeks. And what they did not know was that the man I called over was hiding a secret far more dangerous than the affair. My name is Elena Carter, 36 years old. Marketing executive. Manhattan. From the outside, my life looked curated. Perfect. Filtered. I lived in a glass-paneled penthouse overlooking the skyline. Married to Daniel Hayes, corporate attorney. Polished, respected, admired. We hosted dinner parties. We traveled to Napa. We had matching luggage. And my sister, Chloe, she was always there. Chloe and I had been close once. Or at least I believed we were. She married Marcus Whitmore, a tech investor with sharp suits and sharper instincts. They lived across town in Tribeca. Power couple. Stylish. Ambitious. We did holidays together. Birthdays. Sunday brunch. Looking back now, the signs were there. The lingering eye contact. The way Daniel laughed a little too hard at Chloe's jokes. The way Chloe complimented him just a little too personally. But betrayal does not arrive as a thunderstorm. It drips. Slowly. Until your ceiling collapses. 3 weeks before that night, Daniel started working late. Then later. Then business trips. He guarded his phone. He started going to the gym at 9 p.m. I noticed. I did not confront. I observed. Because calm women see more than loud ones. One evening, Chloe came over unexpectedly. She walked straight to the kitchen like she owned the place. Daniel wasn't home yet. She stood at the counter and said, "You're lucky, you know. Daniel adores you." There was something in her tone. Not admiration. Possession. That night, when Daniel finally came home, he smelled like a perfume. Vanilla and sandalwood. Chloe's signature scent. And that was when I stopped being a wife. And became a strategist. I did not accuse him. Instead, I installed small security cameras. One in the living room. One facing the hallway. One discreetly placed near the bedroom entrance. I also did something else. I shared my location with Marcus. Not accidentally. Intentionally. We had grown closer over the past few months. Not romantically, but quietly. He once told me over drinks, if Chloe ever betrayed me, I would want to know immediately. I looked him in the eyes that night and said, so would I. It was a Thursday. Rain streaked against the glass windows. Daniel texted me, working late. Don't wait up. But I was already in the parking garage downstairs. Because the hallway camera alert had triggered. Motion detected. Bedroom door opened. 2 silhouettes. Laughing. I rode the elevator up without shaking. I unlocked the front door silently. I heard them before I saw them. Whispers. Then a giggle. Chloe's giggle. I walked down the hallway. The bedroom door was slightly open. And there they were. My husband. And my sister. In my bed. I did not scream. I stepped back quietly. Closed the door. Turned the lock from the outside. And then I called Marcus. He answered on the second ring. Elena. Marcus, I said calmly. Are you home? Yes. Good. Come to my place. Bring your keycard. I think you'll want to see something. There was silence. Then one sentence. Is it Chloe? Yes. He did not ask anything else. He said, I'm on my way. Inside the bedroom, the doorknob began to rattle. Daniel's voice. Elena, is that you? I leaned against the wall. And waited. Marcus arrived in 12 minutes. He walked into the apartment. Rain on his coat. Fury in his eyes. The bedroom door was still shaking. Chloe was crying now. Open the door. Please. Marcus walked slowly down the hallway. He did not run. He did not shout. He stood in front of the locked door and said, Chloe. Silence. Then a whisper. Marcus. I unlocked it. The door swung open. Daniel stood half-dressed. Pale. Chloe covered herself with the sheet. Marcus looked at them. And then, he laughed. Not angry. Not broken. Amused. And that was when I realized. This was not going to unfold the way I expected. Marcus stepped inside the room, closed the door behind him, and looked at Daniel. Finally, he said. Daniel froze. Chloe looked confused. I stepped forward. Finally what? Marcus turned to me, and his voice changed. Did you really think this was just an affair? The air shifted. Something was wrong. Very wrong. He pulled out his phone, opened a folder, and handed it to me. Photos. Bank transfers. Messages. Between Daniel and Marcus. My stomach dropped. This wasn't about Chloe, Marcus said quietly. This was about you. Marcus and Daniel had been business partners. Secretly. For 6 months. They had used Chloe as a distraction. As emotional smoke. While they moved money. My money. From a joint investment portfolio Daniel convinced me to open. 40% of my inheritance. Gone. Transferred into offshore accounts. Under a shell company Marcus owned. Chloe looked at Marcus. You said this was just flirting. You said. Marcus cut her off. You were never part of the plan. Daniel finally spoke. Elena, I was going to fix it. I stared at him. You slept with my sister to distract me while you stole from me. Marcus smiled slightly. We needed emotional chaos. You're smart. We had to keep you busy. The calm inside me did not break. It crystallized. Because what they did not know was that I had already suspected financial irregularities. And I had already spoken to someone. 2 weeks earlier, when I noticed missing funds. I contacted a forensic accountant. And a federal investigator. I did not confront. I documented. Every transfer. Every message. Every shell company. And the most interesting part. The accounts Marcus used. Were already flagged in an ongoing investigation. Which meant. When Marcus walked into my apartment that night. He walked straight into a trap. And I told him that. Calmly. You might want to check outside, I said. Marcus frowned. There was a knock at the front door. Not polite. Authoritative. 3 agents stepped inside. Marcus Whitmore. His confidence evaporated. Chloe gasped. Daniel looked like he might faint. You're under investigation for financial fraud and embezzlement. Marcus turned to me slowly. You set this up. I met his eyes. No. You did. They took Marcus first. Then Daniel. Chloe collapsed onto the bed, sobbing. But I did not comfort her. Because betrayal is not a mistake. It is a choice. And she made hers. As the agents escorted them out, Marcus said one last thing. This isn't over. I smiled faintly. Oh, it is. Because the inheritance they tried to steal was insured. Because my lawyer had already filed separation papers. Because the penthouse was in my name. And because sometimes, the calmest person in the room is the most dangerous. But what none of them knew yet was that I had one more move left. And it would destroy more than their freedom. It would destroy their legacy. And when the truth about Chloe finally came out, it would shatter everything she thought she was protecting. The apartment was quiet. Too quiet. The sheets were still twisted. The air still smelled like betrayal. Chloe sat at the edge of my bed, wrapped in silence now instead of satin. Her mascara had run. Her confidence had not. Not yet. You destroyed him, she whispered. I poured myself coffee. Black. No sugar. He destroyed himself. She looked up at me then, and for the first time in my life, I didn't see my sister. I saw a stranger. You don't understand, she said. Then explain it. Her lips parted, then closed. Because she didn't have the full story. And neither did I. Yet. At 9:14 a.m., my phone rang. Ms. Carter, the federal agent said. We've been investigating Marcus Whitmore for nearly a year. How deep does it go? Very. He paused. Your husband was not the mastermind. That sentence landed heavy. He wasn't. No. He was being leveraged. Leveraged. Blackmailed. My grip tightened around the phone. By what? The agent hesitated. We believe Marcus had something over him. Something personal. I ended the call and looked at Chloe, and suddenly, pieces started aligning. That afternoon, Daniel called from holding. His voice wasn't arrogant anymore. It was cracked. "Elena, please." I didn't speak. "He has something on me." "What?" A long silence. Then the words. "I was seeing someone." I laughed softly. "You think I don't know that?" "No," he said desperately. "Before Chloe. Years ago." My stomach dropped. "Who?" He swallowed. "Chloe." The room spun. "For years ago," he said. "Before she married Marcus. We had an affair. It ended. I chose you." I felt cold all over. "She told Marcus," Daniel continued. "He found out last year. He threatened to expose everything. To you. To the board. To the media. So you helped him steal from me." I was trying to buy time. The betrayal wasn't new. It was old. Rotting beneath the surface of my marriage for years. Chloe didn't just betray me last night. She betrayed me long before the wedding rings were even secure. News broke within 48 hours. Tech investor arrested in multimillion-dollar fraud. Marcus's face flooded headlines. New York City media devoured it. Financial blogs. Business podcasts. Morning television. And then, a leak. Private footage from the penthouse hallway. Blurry, but recognizable. Daniel, Chloe, entering the bedroom together. The scandal shifted from financial crime to incestuous betrayal. Reporters camped outside both our buildings. Chloe called me screaming. "You leaked it." I didn't answer. Because I didn't have to. The investigator did. Marcus had recorded everything for leverage. But once his accounts were seized, all his data became evidence. And evidence becomes public record. He built the bomb. I just stepped aside. Marcus requested one call before formal charges. He chose me. "Impressive," he said from the detention center. "You were always smarter than her." "Than who?" "Chloe." His tone shifted. "She told me she loved Daniel." My heart didn't react anymore. She thought they'd run away together. I went still. "What?" Marcus chuckled darkly. "She thought this was romance. I let her believe that. It kept her useful." The air left my lungs. "So you used her too?" "Everyone uses someone, Elena." "No," I said calmly. "Only people who are afraid." Silence. Then he said something I did not expect. "She's pregnant." The world narrowed. "Oh, what?" "She told me 2 weeks ago." My pulse thundered. "Is it yours?" He laughed. "You already know the answer." I drove straight to Chloe's apartment. She opened the door looking hollow. "I'm pregnant," she said before I could speak. I stepped inside. "Is it Daniel's?" Tears filled her eyes. "Yes." Time stopped. She gripped the counter. "He promised me he'd leave you. He said he was trapped. He said you were cold. Strategic. Distant." The irony almost amused me. "He lied to you," I said gently. "He said once the money came through, we'd disappear. Start over." The money. It was never about love. It was about escape. And she was never the partner. She was the pawn. 3 months later, Marcus faced multiple counts of fraud and conspiracy. Daniel testified. He cooperated in exchange for reduced sentencing. Chloe sat behind him. Pregnant. Alone. The judge did not go easy. Marcus received a long federal sentence. Daniel lost his license. His reputation. His future. And Chloe? Her name became synonymous with scandal. No brand would hire her. No investor would touch her. She moved out of Tribeca quietly. I heard she went upstate. The baby was born premature. Daniel was not allowed unsupervised visitation during ongoing proceedings. Chloe called me once. Just once. "I never meant to destroy you." I answered honestly. "You didn't." Because in trying to break me, they exposed themselves. The inheritance was recovered. With interest. I invested differently. Built my own firm. And this time, I trusted no one blindly. 1 year later, I stood in a new penthouse. Same skyline. Different woman. The calm one. The observant one. The one who locked the door instead of screaming. Because here's what betrayal teaches you. Love without boundaries is weakness. Trust without verification is naive. And silence is power. People ask me now if I regret calling Marcus that night. I said no. Because truth does not destroy lives. Choices do. My husband chose greed. My sister chose envy. Marcus chose manipulation. And I chose strategy. When you catch betrayal in your bedroom, do not explode. Do not beg. Do not collapse. Lock the door. And control the ending. If it were you, what will you do differently? Drop your comment, so that others can learn from my story. Subscribe to this channel, like and share. Stay tuned for more interesting life story.